Hello, everyone. I would confess I'm not a big fan of few of the official solutions, and this happens to be one of those questions. Now, let's dive into the question. Recession basically gives us periods of negative economic growth, expansion gives us periods of positive economic growth. We have a graph, it gives us through the curves number of articles about economic growth, primarily about recession. The black one talks of number of articles in Financial Times, and the blue one talks of those in Metro Journal. We also have bands of gray color, which basically talk of recessions. So let's get to the question now. The first question talks of the number of stories per month in the two newspapers about economic growth that were primarily about expansion tends to increase steeply and steadily after a recession ends and to decrease sharply when a recession begins. So say we have these two periods of a recession. So when the recession ends in the first period, we will have the number of articles about expansion increasing linearly. And the moment the recession begins, it will dip. And the moment again the recession ends, it will move up. So we are to find during the period shown on the graph, one might reasonably expect the number of stories about economic growth, primarily about expansion, to have been highest in, and the 3 years which we have been given is 94, 97 and 2000. Now when we look at the graph, 94 is here, 97 is somewhere in between, and 2000 is here. So all these 3 years lie within the same expansion period. So this means wherever this expansion would have started, and the number of articles could have been anywhere, but we know for sure that it is a steep rise here, and it's in a linear fashion. It dips here and then again rise. Now we are talking of 94, 97 and 2000, which are given by this line till here. 94, the number of articles is given by this point, 97 this point, and 2000 this point. Within these three, we can see 2000 would be the maximum. So that is why our answer is going to be 2000. When we come to the second part, we are told if from 1975 to 1976, so let's look at 1975 to 1976. What does it give us? So 1975 is somewhere is going to be here. So if you look at 1975 to 76, this year, half of it lies in recession and half of it lies in expansion. So let's find what all happened in these during this period. So Finance Times and Metro. What we are told in the question is the Finance Times had fewer stories overall about economic growth than the Metro Journal did. So total stories, if M had say M, F would have had lesser than M. So say M minus A. Now let's look at the curves which are given. When we look at this period 75 to 76, the black curve is always higher than the blue curve, which means the number of articles about recession would be more in case of Finance Times. So say if it is 10 in Finance Time, it is going to be less than 10, say 9 in Metro Journal. And we know the remaining are going to be articles about expansion. So The number of articles of expansion in financial is going to be M minus A minus 10. Whereas in Metro Journal, it is going to be M minus 9. When we compare these two, M minus A is as it is less than M, and we are subtracting a higher number from a lesser number. So surely this is going to be more, and Finance Times is going to have lesser number of article of expansion. So our answer is going to be the Financial Times had fewer stories overall about economic growth than the Metro Journal did. Then most likely the Finance Times also had fewer stories primarily about expansion. And this is shown by M minus A minus 10 as compared to M minus 9.